The likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and gonna know each other, and then we wanna see what.
The fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford was confirmed, and boxing fans couldn't believe it. After months of talks and negotiations, the two legends agreed to fight in September 2025. It felt like a dream come true, but things took a turn when Canelo pulled out of the deal.
The Sheik said that he would be willing to pay whatever you want to fight Crawford.
Fine.
Yeah.
If he's willing to pay whatever I want, comes down.
That'll work. Yeah, so if yeah.
Canelo and Crawford both attended the Ring Magazine Awards in London, where talks with Saudi boxing official Alec made huge progress. Alec had been pushing hard for the fight. Photos of both fighters with him went viral, and fans got excited. Reports from ESPN and other sources claimed the deal was done.
And some breaking news, this guy, Julius Julianis, who's an ESPN Knockouts reporter, is reporting that the fight isn't only about to be announced, but the contracts are signed between none other.
This wasn't just any fight. It was a chance to make history. Canelo, the king of the super middleweight division, would face Terence Crawford, the WBA champion at 154 pounds, who was willing to move up to weight classes. Crawford was taking a big risk, but he was ready for the challenge. Canelo had been hesitant in the past, saying there wasn't much for him to gain, but now he seemed more open to the idea.
Anymore, but like he say, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because
Crawford, at 37 years old, knew he didn't have much time left, but saw this fight as a chance to level up his legacy. He had already conquered for weight classes, but a win over Canelo would be huge. The fight would be financially massive for both, and it could cement their places in boxing history.
2 more weight classes, like once he gets touched by Canelo, it's gonna be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo, he's gonna slow down, so I think if
But just as things seemed to be falling into place, doubts began to creep in. The same issues that had delayed.
Everything seemed to be falling into place, but doubts started creeping in again. The weight difference was a big concern. Canelo is a natural super middleweight, and Crawford would have to add 14 pounds to reach that weight. It wasn't just about gaining muscle, it was about staying fast, strong, and ready for a bigger opponent. Canelo had previously said he had nothing to gain from this fight, and those doubts resurfaced.
Since we're on the same topic, what do we think about this fight with Canelo and Crawford if it's at 168?
Him saying it's an easy fight, he's out of his damn mind.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you're the most comfortable.
For Crawford, this challenge was something he was eager to take on. He knew the risks, but also the rewards. Beating Canelo would prove he's one of the best ever. For Canelo, the competition at 168 pounds was drying up, so a fight with Crawford offered something exciting and fresh. It was a fight both fighters needed for different reasons.
Based on last fight is a 50-50. So Canelo fights an undisputed champ, up-and-coming former champion, and an up-and-coming undefeated contender. And somehow those 3 last opponents are somehow compared to Bud's Madrimov fight, making it a 50.
Fans were torn between excitement and worry while talks were progressing. There was still uncertainty. Alec teased that they were close, but nothing was official yet. Both fighters had their own obstacles to overcome, and the fight was still in the works. Canelo had to get over his doubts, and Crawford had to adjust to the higher weight.
Need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy. Why would he? Bud looking to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He willing to take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go back to beat this nigga. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
The fight was still one of boxing's most talked about events, with Alec at the center of the negotiations, with Canelo defending his titles and Crawford aiming to become a 5-weight champion. The stakes were high. It was a daring move for Crawford, stepping up to weight classes to challenge Canelo, but it was also a moment that could define his legacy.
It's disrespectful for Crawford to call you out at 68, say that he can beat you at this weight?
No, everybody wants to fight with me, so it's fine.
That being a biggest fight possible in boxing, is that something you'd actually be interested in?
you know, it's crazy when you ask him about that because you say, your matchup is coming.
WBO super lightweight champion Teofimo Lopez shared his thoughts on the fight, giving the edge to Canelo. He predicted Crawford would make it tough early, but Canelo would adjust and finish the fight in the later rounds.
Not able to walk through me. Honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terrence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is mentally as strong as Terrence Crawford. So,
Lopez's prediction was in line with many fans' thoughts Crawford might trouble Canelo early, but Canelo's size and power could take over in the later rounds. Rumors said the fight might take place at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, which would be a massive event with fans traveling from all over the world.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
Amir Khan, who fought both Canelo and Crawford, shared his perspective on the fight. He admitted Canelo's size would be a huge challenge for Crawford. Even though he praised Crawford's skills, Khan warned that Crawford might struggle against someone as powerful as Canelo, especially given the weight difference.
Everybody keeps bringing up Canelo. I think that's weird, you know, because you'd have to gain like, 20 pounds? Yeah. But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terrence Crawford.
Well, you know what I mean? Catch weight. You can do something at a catch weight.
Khan also questioned whether Crawford really needed this fight, as he's already one of the best. If it's about money, Khan understood why Crawford would take the risk. Still, he advised caution, especially with the physical challenges Crawford would face.
For work and good head movement at times, but I'm a different fighter. You know, I'm a different type of animal, so.
Crawford's decision to step up in weight was seen as risky by many, as he would be fighting someone much bigger and stronger. But for Crawford, this was about proving himself against the best. No matter the challenge, Canelo's experience at 168 pounds could be a major factor, and fans were worried about the risks Crawford was taking. Crawford was preparing for one of the biggest challenges of his career. It wasn't just a title fight, it was his chance to cement his place among the greatest of all time. But he would have to overcome Canelo's size, power, and experience to do it.
I think Canelo's gonna put the beats on him like Dr. Dre.
Do we get a knockdown from Canelo, or does Bud knock down Canelo?
Nah, Canelo's not going down. You could hit Canelo with a Louisville slugger. He's just gonna smile at you.
They ain't say gonna beat him like the beats of Dr. Dre.
Yeah, he's gonna put the beats on him like Dre.
But why? Because
in 2013, Canelo lost to Floyd Mayweather, who showed how to beat him with skill and defensive mastery, but Canelo has since become bigger, stronger, and more experienced. Crawford's challenge would be different from what Mayweather did, and it would be even harder to replicate that success against this version of Canelo.
Look at the champion, y'all. He running all the way from his mama house to home. Dedication.
One of the biggest issues for Crawford is his lack of experience at super middleweight. Moving up to weight classes without a warm-up fight was a bold move. His performance at junior middleweight showed that stepping up in weight might slow him down, and against someone like Canelo, that could be dangerous. Analyst Oladipo pointed out that Crawford might be overlooking other opportunities to gain experience at 150 pounds before taking on Canelo. Some smaller opponents could have helped him get used to the weight, but Crawford is laser focused on Canelo. His undefeated record and accomplishments make him a top fighter, but this is the toughest challenge he's faced. Fighting Canelo at 168 pounds is a huge risk for Crawford. If he wins, he will make history as a 5-weight champion, but a loss could hurt his reputation. Crawford's ambition is admirable, but the size difference could be too much for him to overcome.
We in here working. Get back on the mat. Get back on the mat.
Get back on the mat.
Canelo's strength and size are major advantages, and if Crawford wants to win, he will need to follow the strategies that worked against Canelo in the past. Fighters like Golovkin and Bivol showed that Canelo can be vulnerable when faced with discipline, intelligent boxing. Crawford will need to bring his game to match Canelo's power.
Like Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's a weight class.
Crawford is one of the most adaptable fighters in boxing, and he has the tools to implement a similar strategy to Bivol's. However, Bating Canelo won't be easy. Canelo has shown that he can adjust and improve during a fight, which will make things even harder for Crawford.
People will say the most skilled boxer, period, pound for pound right now. So we're talking about skills, nothing else. It's Shakur Stevenson. A lot will say that. Guess who Shakur Stevenson looks up to? Goes to every fight, trains with him, talks about him all the time.
The stakes are incredibly high for Crawford. If he fails to perform, it could hurt his future opportunities in boxing, especially if Alec decides to shift focus to other fights. Crawford will need to deliver a career-defining performance to make this fight a reality.
405. 405.
Deontay Wilder, a former heavyweight champion, also expressed concerns about Crawford's move up in weight. He warned that jumping from 147 pounds to 168 pounds is a massive difference, and it could be difficult for Crawford to handle the bigger, stronger opponents.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo.
Wilder emphasized that the weight punches are absorbed changes at higher weights. Crawford might struggle with this when facing someone as physically dominant as Canelo. The challenge is real, and it raises the question, is Crawford taking on too much by stepping up to fight Canelo?